name is Samantha Schulte, and I am a documentary filmmaker. So I work as a director and producer, both on my own projects and in collaboration with others on their projects. So I've worked with foundations in San Francisco and New York and around the country, and different nonprofits. So things like access to safe drinking water on an indigenous reservation in Oregon, to housing in the Bay Area and universal basic income in Alabama, things like that. I am currently working on, and this is a project I'm really excited about, directing my own film on the 8-year-old who brought pickleball to Los Angeles and some of the students that he's taught along the way. The project to me is really special because I've always been really interested in stories that inspire people to leave their homes and be in community with one another. And I think especially against the backdrop of the COVID pandemic, seeing how many people have turned inwards, both personally and society at large. I think that there's things like pickleball that might seem really simple, but are actually really profound. I think taking a step back, like filmmaking is, or I think the best stories are really collaboratively told, and it's really a team effort, and it can be hard to find that team. And because it's such an intimate process when you're working with, especially in documentary film, real people's lives, that's such a profound responsibility and opportunity. And so making sure that you have the right folks around you to carry that responsibility is, I think, of like the utmost importance. And for me, for the pickleball documentary, I was really fortunate to meet people from other projects that I really, their style of work and who they were as people really resonated with me, and I thought artistically that they were a good fit for the film. And so I met for the pickleball documentary, or found the folks with the pickleball documentary through my own network in a way. But for other projects, like when I've been a freelance producer, which is one of the main roles that I do in the field, when you're, say I'm looking in Los Angeles and say I'm doing a project in Philadelphia, it can be hard when I'm not from Philly or no folks there, how to find the right sound person or right DP for a project there. And so I have some networks that I tap into to find folks in these other places. But I think one of the reasons why something like BeScene is so helpful and so needed is because of that, because there's a need for a place where you can find a pool of people to be matched with and to think that they're the right fits for your project. And it's like such a people-driven industry that connecting with others is really at the core of that. And having a place like that that's more streamlined, I think, is really valuable. I think even for me now, BeScene is and will still be really helpful for that example of like going to a new city for a project, because you're rarely only working locally. And so having the ability to find people for projects, or when I'm starting out and looking for work, that I can be on something like BeScene, and someone can maybe be looking for a producer and say, oh, here's Samantha, we think she could be a really good fit for it, and for us to connect on the platform. I think it's both ways. It's rare that you're only ever doing your own stuff, and you really need to find work too. So I think that's one of the really special things about something like BeScene, is the ability to both find and be found. But when you're starting something new, there's so many hurdles and new learnings that you need to go over. And I think something like BeScene would have been so helpful when I moved from New York to Los Angeles to start meeting people, because that's really the core of how you start creating and working. Oh, it's huge. Like, I think that for example, like a DP that I've worked with a lot, like he's become a friend, and he's someone that I know if I'm working on a project, I can call, even if he's not on the project, to have him review cuts and have him provide insight or just be a sounding board. And Los Angeles is a kind of unique place where there's a lot of creative folks around, but I, for example, rely on my loved ones a lot to be like, what do you think about this? And all these things. And they're really great about that. But I think having friends and connections that are creators as their primary job and career is invaluable. And then it's also, I think, additionally really nice to have a community locally that you begin to build. And I think it takes time to build that. And so again, I think that's like having something like BeScene can be a catalyst for that in a way, versus having to rely on organic opportunities to do so. That is a really good question. I think that one learning that's very different from working in brand marketing to going to documentary filmmaking is timelines, and I think learning the value of patience. And so for my pickleball documentary, I think that we are hoping to finish it this year. That's the hope, and then have it go out into the world and be experienced and connect with folks the following year. So that's the timeline that we're working on right now, but we'll see what the universe tells us. If you're interested in learning more about our pickleball documentary or supporting it in any way, we will share with BeScene our social media and website information. And thank you so much. I am Samantha Schulte, and I am on BeScene.